Hi, this is Jaya. So we all have our dreams, goals, desires, and we also have an idea, a plan to how to get there. But something stops us. We are in a certain reality and we are not able to see certain things past that reality. So we keep thinking that maybe later on, maybe someday I will be able to go for my dreams, my desires. But what keeps us stuck in a certain reality? Why is it that we are not able to see beyond a certain reality? So one thing for a lot of us, pretty much for every human being on earth, we all have our basic needs, and when we are pretty much focusing on our physiological needs and our safety needs. Now, physiological needs is pretty much about our physical survival. It's about food, water, and making sure your physical survival is ensured for yourself and for your family. And the next need is safety needs, considering that you have safety and security for your family, for yourself, some kind of job stability, or some kind of income coming in. So all these things are some of the fundamental needs, especially in the modern world. We have these needs. Now, when we are completely focused only on these things, focused on making sure that our physiological and our safety needs are met, we're pretty much in survival mode, because our thoughts are always focused on the next paycheck. How do I make money? How do I do this? It's always making sure just our survival is ensured, our physical survival and our safety needs are met. So when we are pretty much in that reality, living in the same reality, what happens is we are pretty much focused, or we are living on others' terms. So the people around you, the situation you're in, your job, or even if you're in a business, unless your client pays, you're always focused on the next check. How do I ensure that I get the next paycheck, or the next check for myself, or how do I make sure that I'm able to take care of my family for the next month? How do I pay the rent? How do I pay the mortgage? So pretty much it's within the same reality. Maybe the reality is that way, but the thing is, if you want to change anything, if you want to go for the bigger things in life, we need to be able to think beyond survival, not just focused on that reality alone. And when you are there, it's pretty much others' terms. It's not about what you want to achieve, what your goals are, or how you take certain necessary steps to reach your desires, your dreams. It's all about what others expect from you, what others want from you, and how you please others, how you impress others. It's always based on what others want from you. So by the end of the day, you feel totally frustrated and exhausted because you've been doing a lot of things for others, not because you wanted to do it, because others wanted you to do it, or others expect you to do certain things. And when you're always living on others' terms, all these things, fear, worry, anxiety, there's always this stress going on in your head. So end of the day, that's why we feel so exhausted, because there's too much stress. And when there's a lot of stress, automatically we go into this fight or flight response, the brain's natural conditioned response. And when we are in this place, we're pretty much focusing only on survival. So it's pretty much a cycle. So when we are in this place, just focusing on these needs and what others want from us, focusing on others' needs and getting things done for them, not based on what you want, we are pretty much stuck in that reality. And that's one of the biggest things why we are not able to have that confidence to go to the next step, to the next level, to follow our dreams. One of the first things you can do to change it. It is possible to change it, because pretty much it's all based on our past conditioning, our habitual thinking patterns, the way we are used to thinking, based on how things have happened in the past. But if you're in a place where you think that you should be ready to move on to the next level, you need to be able to change this past conditioning. You need to be able to change the way you think. Because unless you get past, you start thinking beyond this reality, this survival mode, unless you change this, it's not going to change by itself, right? So one of the first things that you can do to change just focusing on others' terms is you get to define what you want. And Even when others stress you out, you can change the way you respond. Rather than automatically going into a fight or flight response, which is automatically, if the other person stresses you out, you get into an anger mode and you feel like you have to fight in the situation, or you get too frustrated and you want to flee the situation. So rather than getting into a habitual way of thinking, your habitual patterns, you can actually change the way you respond. You can stay more relaxed and more calm, and not just focus on the stress responses, and instead you can actually respond in a way that is more empowering to you. So that way you start doing things the way you want to do. Although you're still doing the same job or pretty much in the same business, you can still change the way you respond, because you're more aware of the way you're responding, the way you're thinking. And just because you're used to a certain way of thinking doesn't mean that you have to continue the same way. There's a way to change yourself, change the way you think, change the way you operate. And rather than going to the usual response, the usual stress response, you can tell yourself that I'm more relaxed, and that way you can actually change the way you respond. Another thing is you starting to feel secure, that when you are in a place where the basic needs are met, when you start feeling more secure about your place, the way you have been doing things, when you start feeling more confident about yourself, that you have the ability to take care of yourself and your family, this fear response is you're going to slowly come out of that fear response, because fear doesn't have to have that control over you. You have the ability to respond in a different way, and not giving into the same fear or anxiety, the same kind of worry responses. It's going to take a while to change the external circumstances, but you can start with yourself, because when you start changing the way you think and not give into the usual habitual patterns, things start changing. So everything starts from yourself, and once you're out of the survival mode, you will actually start seeing new ways to get to the ideal life that you want, and everything starts from you. And confidence comes from here, because you know that you have the ability to change things the way you want, and confidence starts building up the more and more you start acting towards that future that you want, and the more and more you start taking action, confidence automatically starts coming. Thanks for watching. This is Jaya. I'll catch you again on another video.